Oh, hello everybody. Welcome. I'm excited about our event today and thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking time out of this busy season to join me as I talk about our wonderful Qnique 15 machines. And I'm taking the opportunity to show you all three of them. We're going to talk about the 15M, which is our manual machine, our 15R, which is our regulated machine, and our 15 Pro. But I'm also going to talk to you about our Qzone Queen frame and why we do the things that we do and why we make the frames the way we make them, and some special features just to point them out. Just to inform you as you're out there looking for a quilting system so that you can ask the proper questions and so that you can compare and just make that best informed decision that you can for you. Whether it's price, whether it's functionality, that's what I'm here today to talk to you about. And so let me jump in, and I'm going to start out with our Qzone Queen frame. What's so great about our Qzone Queen frame, it's a queen size frame. So you don't have to shift your fabric, but one of the drawbacks to it is that you are limited to the size quilt that will fit within the parameters of the queen size. So that's what's nice about the hoop frame, is that it doesn't limit you. So those are one of those comparisons as you're thinking about getting a frame and a quilting machine, is what's going to work best for you. If you're never going to quilt a king size quilt, this is a wonderful frame. Now, one of the features that is great about it is that you can sit or stand. So I love to use this frame sitting, and I'll just get a nice rolling chair and just quilt and sew and move along and just scoot my chair along, and it's really a lot of fun and very enjoyable to sit and quilt. But if you have back problems and you need to lean against something, standing is also an option with this. So with the height adjustable legs, just know that that is a key feature to this nice frame. Just like the Qzone hoop frame, it can sit or stand. You can sit or stand. One of the other features I want to point out is our track system. So I'm just going to move over here, okay, and point out our track system. So our track system is really important on all of our frames. And there's a very important feature that you need to do as you're setting up the frame is to align the tracks with the carriage. And so you're going to leave these easy to assemble track supports, one of them loose, and as you put your carriage on, you're just going to move it back and forth and then tighten up the screws. This helps to align the carriage with the frame and make it so it's nice and smooth and free flowing. Another feature is the seamless track. You get one seamless track, and so your encoders, which are what sense your movement, will ride along that seamless track, and you don't have a little bump or buckle as you're moving along, which there are frames out there that do have that break in it, and as their coder is riding along, it will hit that bump, and you can definitely feel that as you're quilting. And you know if your track's not aligned correctly because you can feel it as you're free motion quilting. So just make sure that you look for those features, that you have one seamless track and that your encoders are riding on the tracks so that they're not feeling every bump and buckle. Another feature is back here, I don't know if you all know that all of our frames now, even our hoop frames, come with channel locks. And what channel locks do is they'll lock your machine in place so that you can make long, nice, straight lines across your quilt or front to back. So channel locks are really a nice feature, and you just lock it into place, and then you're able to move it back and forth. There's also a channel lock that comes so that you can put it on the sewing machine and lock into the place so you can move side to side and make those nice straight lines. So that's another key feature. Now, another important feature is the take-up bar. Now, we could add an idler bar on this, but you won't get the maximum throat space of your machine. Idler bars, they're great. Don't get me wrong, they're super. They just sit down below, and then your take-up pole sits up above, and you start rolling your fabric on it. The thing about idler bars is that you lose quilting area as you're quilting. And so just know that the smaller machines, you want to have as much quilting area as possible, so that idler bar is going to eat up a little bit of that quilting. And either you want it or you don't. I'm just allowing you to make your informed decisions so that you know and understand. Okay, another feature is our adjustable take-up bar. The reason it needs to adjust is so that as your take-up pole fills up with the quilt, it will start rubbing against your sewing machine and making it harder to move. By raising it up on both sides, it allows you that free-flowing movement from side to side, front to back. So that's also a key feature and very important. And also, as you're raising this, you want to raise your support in the front here, your bar that holds your backing as well, so that it makes it nice and smooth and straight across. If you start rolling this and raising this, you'll kind of get a slope. So you have to raise them at the same time, and just make sure that they're nice and even and straight across. And so those are just some of the features, as well as what's nice about all of our frames as well is this pole right here extends out to allow you maximum quilting area for your different machines. So just like on the Q-Zone hoop frame, this front pole extends to allow you more quilting area. So if you wanted to put a 19-inch machine on the queen frame, you could. Also, with our continuum frame and our hoop frame, you can expand it. So it can grow with you as a quilter. So you could start out with your domestic machine and move up to a Qnique 15 or a 19. And now the 21 would not fit on this frame. It only works with the continuum frame, but you have options where you don't have to sell your complete system and start all over. You can gradually make those adjustments, and it doesn't eat into your budget and your pocketbook. So those are some of the features I wanted to point out on the frame, as well as hello everybody again, and welcome from Canada. It says, I've been having fun getting used to her 15 Pro. Oh, and she wants to say hi from Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome, Pamela. This pole right here, notice that you get these clamps. You get 4 clamps, which it makes it easy to put your fabric on. Now, the leader claws are not included, but they're an accessory that you can purchase, and as well as the table inserts. They're not needed to get started quilting, but they are an accessory. Now, if you don't have the leader claws, you're probably wondering, well, how do I quilt? Well, you'll just make your backing act as your leader, and you'll just make it longer and a little wider, and it's just going to roll up just like I did here. I don't have the leaders on here, but I just put my backing on and I made it a little longer so it could attach to the pole. On this frame here, we have what we call our Faber-Fast system, and it comes with tubing, which as you'll put your fabric across the pole and you'll push the tubing down in, and it makes it easy for you to adjust and quickly roll. That's the frame features. And let's talk about the machines, okay, let's go to a question. Okay. Diana says, I'm on the fence about purchasing one. Are they user-friendly? And yes, that's why I'm here today. I'm here to explain how user-friendly they are and how the machine works, so that you can get a little bit of experience by me showing you. And then hopefully you can get out and maybe talk to one of our dealers or call our 800 number and talk to one of our fabulous sales associates. They'd be happy to answer any questions. As Joyce Hawkins, she says, I came in a bit late. What frame is this? This is our Q-Zone Queen frame. So yeah, this is a little different. And as you go online to graceframe.com, I want you to look at the machines and the frames. We've talked so much about the hoop frame, and don't get me wrong, I love the hoop frame. It's like my kids. I love them all. Oh, and we do have a great code. So for you, as you're purchasing, so we have great Black Friday specials. So if you go to graceframe.com, and scroll down, you'll see our Black Friday special. The coupon code for this week's webinar is B as in Bob, F as in Frank, 30. And you will get $30 off on any purchase that's $100 or more. So make sure that you write down that code and you use it when you're ready to purchase whatever item. And as long as it's $100 or more, you'll get that extra $30 off. Plus, sign up for our Black Friday code and get that. I think they're offering some free shipping in there. So now is the time to buy. If you are on the fence, hopefully I'm answering the questions that you have. So you can make a better and a more informed decision. But if you have extra questions after this is over, please call. I don't want you to be frustrated and think it's going to be a hard decision. It's not. And hopefully I can go through and explain the differences on the machine clearly so that you can understand and see. So the first machine I want to talk to you about is our 15M. Now, our 15M is just such a great price, and it's such an easy transition from a domestic machine to this 15M. It's a manual machine. It doesn't have stitch regulation, so it's a lot like using your domestic machine, just has a larger throat. Some of the perks, you have the needle up, needle down. Of course, you have that on your other, but you don't have to reach around. You just use the buttons for your needle up, needle down. And you can adjust the speed with the buttons as you're quilting. So it's such an easy machine to use. And I turned it to 35%, but as you're quilting, you can raise the speed or lower it. And I'm just going to turn it on, and it's just so nice and smooth. Now, all of our machines, you'll notice, come with the dual thread stands, so you can put more than one thread on it. And notice our 15M machine comes with a bobbin winder, and a lot of machines out there have bobbin winders, but a lot of the long arm machines don't. So that's a great feature, and it's integrated so that you can use it and wind all your bobbins, and then you're ready to quilt your quilt. And if you have to stop, you don't want to unthread your machine, so you'll have an extra spool over on the other side. That's what's nice about the dual thread stand, is that you can have that bobbin thread if you need more and use it to wind your bobbins. So this is an absolutely fabulous machine, and you know how easy it works, nice and smooth. Now, if you decide to go with the 15M machine, just know that it's a great price point, but you're not limited. You can add stitch regulation at any time to this machine. And then we will just send you a little package that it comes with encoders. So you can add that on at any time when you're ready with your quilting. Now, if the 15M is not for you and you're ready for that next step, we have our 15R machine. Now, it comes standard with the stitch regulation. So, and it comes with a different screen, and you use the buttons to scroll through the screen. I want to talk about the handles and the buttons and why we decided to make the handles this way. They're ergonomic and they're very comfortable. Notice that I don't have to have my arms out like this. My shoulders are nice, and my arms aren't distorted to different, with some handles out there as you're twisting and maneuvering them, you have to put your elbows out because they're a little wider. These are just nice and ergonomic, and you have the grips on them, and you have the raised buttons. And I know it seems very confusing, the buttons, but it's not. once you get really used to them, and they're raised so you can feel them and you can tell that you're pushing in and bringing the needle down and up. So it's a real important feature for you to know and understand that the reason that we designed them this way is because they are ergonomic and they are more comfortable for you to sit or stand and quilt. So with the 15R, okay, you have 3 separate modes of quilting. You have regulated precise, and I'm just going to turn it on and show you what regulated precise does. So as you're quilting in regulated precise, if you stop, the needle stops, which is really nice. It's nice for rulers, so you can have the needle stop in the up position or the down position. Okay, next mode that we have, and you just use these buttons. This is my button that gets me to the main menu right here, and these are my buttons that move me through it. So I'm going to go into regulated cruise mode. Not difficult, just a little learning curve. So now with the regulated cruise mode, it's still stitch regulated, but notice that the needle is going to continue to move up and down rather than stop. This is nice if you're quilting pebbles and just gives you those extra little steps or little stitches that you need. Not my best work when I'm standing up away. Anyway, that's regulated cruise mode. And I love both of them. And like I said last week, I give you permission to try the different modes. All right, so now I'm going to go back in to my main menu. We have a based mode if you want to baste your fabric. And we also have our manual mode, which is just what I showed you over here. So you can use the manual mode at any time. Okay, and now I'm just going to put it in manual mode and see I have my percentages so I can raise the speed up. Or just lower it down. And manual mode, if you are drawing a design or something, I like to use manual mode all the time. So just try them out and see which mode you like. And then you have your tools, but I'm just going to get back into regulated precise. And it's just that easy to change from one mode to the other. And see the beautiful stitches, and oh, my thread broke, so I'll just thread it again. Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, let me get there and I will answer a question. So see how easy it is just to get it rethreaded. And it's not hard to thread these machines at all. In fact, I think they're easier to thread than some of the domestic machines out there because some of the domestic machines, they have so many little ports. So anyway, I am going to, see, I did it. Who needs glasses? Not me. All right, so let's answer some questions, okay? It says, Jeanette, she bought a 15R last month and she is learning how to use it. My stitches don't seem to be regulated. What could I be doing wrong? It doesn't seem to stitch when I'm going really slow. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, if it doesn't seem like it's sewing like mine are, it could be that your encoders are not plugged in correctly. On the back of the machine, well, you have one encoder that senses your movement, and it's your front to back movement, and it is placed on one of the wheels of the machine. And then you have your side to side movement encoder that is underneath the back of the carriage, and it senses your side to side. Now, if they're not plugged in correctly or if something, it won't sense the movement, and so it will feel a little sluggish. So you need to really stop and check that out and see if they're springing down towards your carriage correctly. So it could be a number of things. So give us a call. Let's talk to either the techs or one of the sales associates and see if we can figure out what's going on so that we can get it sewing correctly. So it's really easy to work on the machines and adjust. It's easy to adjust your tension. It's easy to adjust the encoders. And I don't want you to have your husbands do it. Or somebody else, one of those tech guys that you hire to come in and work with your machines. I want you to try and work with them so that you understand them. I have such a better understanding of how the machines work and what to look for when something's not working the way it should. So it's really important for you to jump in and learn the system and learn how to use it. So what was that question, Bryant? It says, Joyce, I have that frame and I am seeing this and wondering if I have been rolling my quilts wrong. Maybe, maybe. Sometimes I have to step back and look at it. It's really easy to roll your quilt on. So what you'll do is you'll put your backing on, and your backing will go up and under, and you'll use the tubing to put down over your backing on this pole. Then what I do is I let it fall down in there, and what's nice about the tubing is you can kind of adjust it back and forth to make it nice and straight. But what I'll do is, and if you have the leaders, you know where your center is. So anyway, I let it fall down in, and I'll put it on here, and then you'll just roll it up this way. Both poles roll this direction, but it's this backing that's up and under and over, and this is over and under rolling towards you. So I have done a video on how to load the fabric, so make sure you go to graceframe.com and the resources there and look at the video, because it does show you how to put the fabric on, and it's just really easy. So no problem there, and you're probably quilting just fine. Okay, so now let me show you our fabulous 15 Pro. So I'm just going to pull the thread up here. My bobbin thread, and I'm just going to cut it really quick. Okay. My tension probably was a little tighter than it needs to be, and that's probably why my thread broke, okay? And then it just came out because I cut it a little short. All right, so I'm just moving this to the side so that I can show you the 15 Pro. So the 15 Pro is a little faster. This machine here is 1,800 for the speed, 1,800 stitches, and this is 2,000. So it's a little faster machine. It also has a touch screen with it. You have your needle up where it's going to stop either up or down. You have your overspeed. Now the overspeed is off. Some of you, when you get the machines, you'll hear this little beeping sound as you're moving, and you'll probably wonder, what the heck is that? Well, that's the overspeed. That's just telling you that you're moving the machine faster than it can sew, so slow it down or turn up your SPIs, your stitches per inch, so that you can move a little faster. Every machine out there, you will max out the speed at one time or another if you're moving it too fast. That's something quilters forget, is that just like a car, when you're accelerating, you can accelerate so fast, but you have to give it time to reach that speed. It's the same way with the sewing machines. So as you're quilting and as you're moving it faster, you have to give it time to accelerate or decelerate, or if that's actually a word, I don't know. But anyway, to slow down. And so just know that that's what the stitch regulation does, is it speeds up as you start moving faster, but then also it has to slow down. So you just have to learn to work and understand how the machine works. And that's really important. And once you do know that, you'll get in your groove as you're quilting, and you'll know what speed you like. And the rule of thumb is that if you know your design, turn your speed up, because you're going to tend to move faster. If you're just learning a design and you have to have a little thinking time and little stops or curlicues and you're just wondering, okay, can I do this? And you need a little thinking time to know what direction you're going to be quilting, then slow the speed down so that you have that time to adjust. So anyway, so just like with your 15R, we have the regulated precise, but it's just a little faster. And so when I stop, the machine's going to stop. And instead of using the buttons, I can just use the fabulous touch screen and go to cruise. Now notice that we have the percentages, so I can have the needle go up and down nice and slow at 5%. Or I can raise it up and have it go up and down a little faster at 10% or even more. See, so there's a few more adjustments that you can make on the 15 Pro than you can the 15R or the 15M. So it's just a matter of knowing. And then Cruise, it's just a sweet machine and at such a good price. So make sure that you're checking them all out. And what's nice about the 15, it's not an intimidating machine. It is so easy to use. You have your base mode, and then you have your manual mode, just like that. And it's at 90. Man, you have to be a really fast quilter to be at 90. But anyway, that is the 15 Pro. I love this machine. So anyway, those are the features. Now you can go in and make some adjustments. You see these settings here. These are presets where you can change and do what presets you like. So there's a lot of things to learn about the 15 Pro. Make sure that if you have any more questions that you do, give us a call. Can you explain the needle jog? Of course. The needle jog is awesome. So if you wanted to go back and stay right on your design or whatnot, you can jog your needle down or up. So I just tap on that and it moves down in increments. And that's what the needle jog does. And it goes all the way down and I keep tapping and then it'll come all the way back up. And that's what the needle jog does. So if you wanted to go back and make sure that you were right there exactly on, you use your needle jog, and your needle jog, it allows you to see how it goes down in just increments. All the way in. And it does a full rotation the more times you tap on it. There we go. All right, so then I just do my needle up, needle down to make sure it gets its full rotation, and then just turn it on and get quilting again. And that's what the needle jog does. Any other questions that I can answer? Oh, couple of ways. Now, I don't know what machine you have. So you turn up the speed by using the buttons, or you can turn up the speed. Hang on, let me get back into regulated precise. You did on the Pro machine, a couple of ways. You can tap on the screen by going tap and see how the SPIs change by pushing on the plus. So that is now it's 13 SPI, and that's your speed plus your stitches per inch, okay? So that makes it so I can move it a little faster. Now, if you want to slow it down, you just hit the minus. Now, same thing goes with your buttons. Your buttons on your 15R are how you'll turn up your speed and slow it down. See, I just use this to turn them up and down. Anyway, any other questions or? Okay. Yes, well, except for the manual machine, can be used with the computer automation, which is so much fun to be able to use and quilt. This quilt behind me was used with the computer automation. And I just quilted an edge-to-edge design, which is a design all the way across and all the way down. It's the same design, but it was just so much fun and so easy to quilt with the computer automation. And if it's something that you're interested in, it is on sale as well right now. Now's a good time to jump into it. So if that's something you've been thinking about adding, make sure that you look at the pricing online, because there's some fabulous pricing right now. And it just makes it one more aspect to your quilting. Rose is asking, how high or low could the front bar on your hook frame be? For the hoop frame, okay. Oh, okay. So let me explain that. That's a good question, Rose, okay? So the rule of thumb as you're raising and lowering the take-up bar, okay, and the front bar, is that this bar should be at least a finger width underneath, so you can fit your hand that's laying flat underneath it, okay? And that will make it flow smoothly underneath. Okay, so this bar right here should be aligned underneath. You don't want it straight across, because this is your line of sight right here. So it should be to where it hits right here. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay. Right here. It's right under here. So it should be aligned just like this, straight across. So it's hitting right here, underneath. Okay, so that's how it should be adjusted on all your quilting frames, from the continuum to the Q-zone queen to our hoop. Our hoop frame's a little different because it's just one setting, and once you adjust it to the height of your machine, you'll be good to go. You don't have to do any more adjustments with it. But on the rolling frames, that's why we call them rolling frames, you will have to do these adjustments. Now, I wanted to show you the laser and how it works, because I get a lot of questions of, I want to see how the laser works. And so, you know, this isn't one of my best things I'm really good at. So let me just cut my thread. And move over. So as you're using the laser, what's nice about this pole here is it extends out. So your machine only reaches so far. So you can put a little pantograph on the front and quilt from the front. Or you can just quilt with pantographs in a little block. But you're going to have to make your adjustments, okay? So anyway, I have my nice little laser here. And I'm just going to pull it over here. And it's a design that I felt comfortable with, so I drew it out. and I'm just going to move across, okay, as I'm quilting, and you'll see my little dot. I hope you can see my little dot, okay? What? I'm sorry. I told you, it's not one of my best things that I'm good at, but you know what? There's always room for improvement here. And I'm better at free motioning this than following with the laser. Now with the laser, it's great, but it does take practice to use. So if you're not comfortable with your design, I suggest you trace over it several times so that you get that muscle memory and that movement as you're moving back and forth and across it. And that really helps you, as you're quilting, understand how the design is supposed to flow with your laser and your machine, so that you can make the correct movements. Because it's easy to get off when you're using the laser and move to a section that you're not supposed to be on. So just make sure that you understand that. And once you start using the laser, ladies, everybody loves it. And it's a nice little challenge. And as you improve with using these different products or different accessories, you're ready for that next step. So make sure that if you want to get the laser, you can get table inserts for both the hoop frame and the Q-Zone Queen frame. Now the continuum frame comes with the table inserts already. So as you're comparing and as you're looking at the frames and the machines, make sure that you do so within a form. And if you have more questions, please call us and let us help you have a better understanding. Any more questions before we wrap it up? Okay. Can you have the laser for pantographs and the Pattern Perfect and the stylus? Yes, I noticed that the Pattern Perfect is on sale. It's a great way to quilt, and it does keep you nice and steady, doesn't allow you to deviate from the lines, but it also takes a little practice. So before you start using it, just make sure you feel comfortable with the movements, because you're working from the back of the frame and you can't see what's going on in the front. So it's a great way to get started quilting, and it's a great way to learn different designs with every movement that you make with following pantographs and following the Pattern Perfect. You get that muscle memory, so that's really important. Where are the oiling spots? Yes, so there are a few oiling spots. The hook for sure, and I pull it out and show you that you need to oil the hook. Okay, so let me show you where that is. Right here. All right, so I'll take my bobbin case out and make sure that I unthreaded my needle because I don't want my thread to get murky. But I will oil my hook assembly and turn a rotation, my needle up, needle down, so that it works that oil into your hook. That's really important to oil. Even on your domestic machines, oil them. They need it. They crave it. It's like carbs for some people. The machines need that oiling. And then there is a spot right over here on the side of the machine that you oil, not as often, maybe once every few months. And then there's one right up here in the front that's the needle bar, and that one probably could be a year, because inside the machines are sealed bearings, and so they're lubricated, and so they are just going to, the more you use them, you'll find that sweet spot, and it breaks in just like cars or anything, and it just sews beautifully. So make sure that you oil them often, especially the hook. That's the spot that you need to oil often. I will oil it. Sometimes if it's a big quilt, I will oil it in the middle of that quilt because it just needs that. Of course, I don't oil it and start sewing right away. I make sure that my thread is clean and clear, and I don't want any oil on my quilt whatsoever. So make sure that you have a piece of fabric on the edge, that if you do decide to oil it, that it is sewing nice and clear and you're not going to have any oil. All right, and so just to follow up on everything, I have enjoyed talking with you today, and I just want you to know how grateful we are as a company for you, our customers, and we so appreciate all the questions and everything that you do to help us become a better company. And we just wanted you to know, and our way of appreciation is to help you out at this time of year, and we're offering such great specials. And so please go online and sign up for the Black Friday special, and then for that extra $30 off your $100 purchase or more, that code is B as in Bob, F as in Frank, 30. That's Bob Frank 30. So make sure you put that in to get your $30 off, and we just want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. It's been challenging times, and if you're alone, we're sorry, but we're here for you, and give us a call and ask us the questions, and may the Lord bless all of you, and thank you again for joining me. We so appreciate it. Have a happy Thanksgiving.